Okay, so calorie cycling is our topic for today, but I just want to give a quick welcome for anybody who is new here. In case you don't know, my name is Leta, and I just want to let you know that I am not a doctor, but I am so passionate about natural health, keto, and I love to bring in information from the experts that are out there. So I just share that information with you. We can talk about it. I'm always experimenting all the time with different things. And I don't always look specifically in the keto space because, like I said, I'm really into natural health. There's so much great information out there. And also in the health and fitness field in general, even like I even kind of check out like bodybuilding stuff. I'm not a bodybuilder. I have to push myself. Hey, Beth, good morning. As Beth knows, I have to push myself for exercise. It's not something that comes easy for me, but I love kind of seeing what other people are talking about and reading a bunch of different books and stuff. And when I find something that's kind of interesting that I think you guys would like, I just love to share it with you so that you can try it out. So that's what we're talking about today. Today is calorie cycling. And this is a topic that's kind of new for me, actually. I don't know, I intuitively have done it a little bit. And now I kind of realize why sometimes I can lose much more and my, efforts are just more effective, and why sometimes they're not. And it makes total sense now that I've learned about this calorie cycling thing. So Beth, just for the gym, I miss my gym. Oh yeah. Yeah. Beth loves the gym, and she actually, like, I will say, kind of likes to work out. I mean, I don't know if you would say that you do, Beth, or if you're like my husband, he's like, well, nobody likes to work out, but once you go there, you get into it. I said, I beg to differ. I think there's some people that really, really, really do not enjoy it. And I'm one of those people. I just, you know what? I really got to push myself. And that's just, I'm just being perfectly honest, but I do it for my health. So Beth, I think, does it because she gets that adrenaline and it helps get her, stress out and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, that's really good. Okay. So yeah, the calorie cycling. Sorry. And also, if you're new here, I go off on tangents. So I'll talk about something, then I'm kind of over here. I usually can get myself back, but if for some reason I don't get myself back, feel free to say, by the way, you were talking about, yeah. So just remind me on here. But anyway, that's what I do. I first started hearing about calorie cycling when I was kind of like I said, I was looking into bodybuilding. I was actually really looking into some just different exercises that I want to do for my shoulders and my arms and things like that. And then all of a sudden I'm seeing, they're talking about calorie cycling. I'm like, oh, what is this calorie cycling? Nothing to do with keto whatsoever. But I started looking into it, and it's really, really cool. So basically what it is just cycling between lower and higher calorie days. That's basically what it is. And the experts say that it helps us have greater weight loss. That's like the number one thing. It also improves like our happiness factor, which I love. I'm always really big on living our life that makes us really happy, makes our heart happy. And because when you're having lower calorie days and then higher calorie days, you can fit that into your lifestyle when you have social things, or if there's just certain days that you just really enjoy eating higher calories. And I love that idea. And it won't lower our metabolism. So that's the thing that we need to be concerned about. If our calories are too low, but for sustained long periods of time, like I've heard people in the group say, I've had the exact same macros, I do the exact same thing every day, and I've done it for 6 months. I don't really think that's a really good idea. Our bodies get kind of used to it. The experts say our bodies get kind of used to these set points, right? And so if we keep it low for a really long time, our body goes, oh, well, that's kind of all we need. So, we don't have to really give a faster metabolism. We can lower the metabolism to match those lower calories, right? So the idea of mixing it up, higher and lower, makes total sense to me. Okay, so in talking about calories, that's another topic, is do calories matter? Well, we don't want to stay low every day, And calories do matter higher and lower, because the other problem is that if we're over, like if we don't have a calorie deficit, we are not going to lose weight. Like that is for sure. But the thing is, I think what a lot of us, I know me, I think more in terms of my day. I kind of just look at my day and I think, okay, like say my day is 1,400 calories and then what my macros are, and that's what I'm following every day. But really, what these experts are saying is they're saying, look at the whole week. You don't have to look at your day. And this actually makes total sense to me, because the times that I do the best, when I feel like, yeah, I'm really rocking it, I'm feeling my groove, I'm totally into it, it's when I'm intermittent fasting. And if you think about it, that's what intermittent fasting is. It is like calorie cycling. I mean, there's more points to it, and there's a lot of information in Unit 6 on that, but you get my drift, right? So when you're doing intermittent fasting, generally your calories are lower that day than you have a normal keto day, right? And so you're kind of ebbing and flowing, and that's when I always do my best. So I'm like, okay, this totally makes sense. So what else? It decreases hormones like testosterone and the thyroid if our calories are too low. Sorry, getting back to, if our calories are too low for an extended period of time, the negative part is it can lower our metabolism. It can decrease our hormones like testosterone and thyroid. And we need testosterone too, ladies. Like we still need that. And we definitely don't want to lower our thyroid. I had that issue for the longest time, and now I don't, thank goodness. But when I did, it really, that affects our health totally, which is a totally different topic. You can read my story in Unit 10, Success Stories. I've got my hypothyroidism story in there, but it really lowers our metabolism, and it doesn't make us feel good. So anyways, we definitely don't want to do that. It also, when our calories stay low for extended period of time, it increases our cortisol levels. So that's our stress hormone. We do not want that, because when the cortisol is up, our insulin goes up, we feel like crap, we want to stress eat, we want carbs. It does the absolute reverse of what we're trying to do here. So we don't want to do that. And I'm going to read this part. It inhibits the communication between the hunger hormones and the brain. So it makes them unable to signal satiety and fullness. Okay. So when we suppress our calories for long periods of time, that's why, you hear people say that, they say, oh, I've been doing my keto really good or whatever for so long, and then I just went off and I just ended up having a binge day, or I just had a big treat day or whatever. And they go, I can't believe it, I see this big jump on the scale. That is just kind of part of the calorie cycling, because now your body's like, oh, okay, you're not starving, you're getting all these really awesome calories. And so now let's get back to business of burning fat, right? And that's why that can happen. So this is actually a very simple way to look at it. So what I'm suggesting is, instead of us doing our same thing every single day, right? Which I've always said about mixing up our keto, right? Trying different ways to do it. But when it comes to the calories, we want to find out what our maintenance calories are, okay? So we have our keto apps for sure, and they tell us, and they're pretty good. And I always recommend, by the way, try a bunch of keto apps, right? You can go on there on your app store, and there's like so many different ones. It doesn't mean that it has to be the one that you follow, but I always recommend trying like 3 or 4 different keto apps, filling in all your information and seeing what it gives you for your daily calories and your macro breakouts and stuff like that, and kind of see what there's an average, because I find sometimes it'll be really, really high for people. The other little tip, this is just a little sidebar, but the other little tip is, don't go glory days on your exercise. I mean, if you're really an exercise, so Beth, for sure, you know what? Okay, we've got Ashley in the group. She's a huge exerciser too. If you exercise big time, you definitely want to be honest with your exercise. But what I'm saying is, when I'm figuring out my calories, so whether this, I'm going to talk to you about the maintenance, or you're figuring out your normal macros, I put for myself sedentary. And the reason why is because I don't exercise every single day. I'm honest about that. If when I exercise, I'm walking, I'm doing yoga, I'm doing strength training. I mean, I'm not in that situation where I am like doing something so hardcore that I would need to actually count that as my exercise. So what happens is, if you say that you do light exercise or you do moderate exercise and you don't, like you say, like that you're hoping, but you don't actually do it, it's going to give you way more calories and way more macros than you actually really need. So I think the better thing to do is you keep it low. You say you're sedentary or light exercise, depending. And then if you really kill it that day, you can change it that day if that's what you want to do. The point of this is that we want to be in a calorie deficit. Now, in order to figure this whole thing out, you need to figure out what your maintenance calories are, okay? And I am going to give you a little place where you can go if I can do this properly. Okay, so we want to find out our TDEE. There we go. Total daily energy expenditure. So we want to know how many calories it takes to maintain. Okay, so that's like breathing, eating, just our normal everyday, right? And our exercise, whatever we regularly do, so like I said, I say I don't do anything. Here's where you go. This is where I find the easiest thing to do. I'm going to leave this sitting here for a little bit so you guys can write it down. This calculator I find to be pretty accurate because I went out and I must have tried about 6 different calculators to find out what my maintenance calories were. And I sort of took the average of everything. And this one was really accurate, I found. If you're honest with your exercise, like I said, and also there's a part in there that says your body fat percentage. If you know your body fat percentage, it makes it a little bit more accurate. But I tried it both ways and I found it was still pretty close, even when I didn't enter that in. So not everybody has that information. You need a smart scale, or you have to go to a gym with a 3D body scanner or something like that. So if you don't know, then don't worry about it. I still find it to be pretty accurate. So you go to this calculator, you enter in all your information, and it will tell you what your maintenance calories are. Now, this is what the experts say. You guys probably know from your years of dieting, but you want to minus between 300 and 500 calories a day to get enough calorie deficit to make a difference, but you don't want to go hardcore. That's our old dieting ways. We don't want to go down like 1,000 calories or something like that, unless okay, so let me backtrack. We're going to take our maintenance and I'm going to show you right here. We're going to take our maintenance. I'm really bad with explaining unless I show it to you. Okay. So we're going to take our maintenance calories. That's our TDEE. And we're going to minus off 300 to 500. Okay. Whatever range. And the examples I'm going to show you, I'm going to minus off 500. And that's going to give us our daily calorie deficit. And that probably should be very close to what your keto app is telling you. Okay. So I'll give you an example right here. If it said that your maintenance calories would be 1,800, right? And I minused off 500, that gives 1,300. So 1,300, and that would be, probably fairly accurate for anybody whose maintenance is 1,800. Probably your keto app is going to tell you 1,300, somewhere around that range, right? So we want to find out what it is for the entire week. So if we're not going to focus on each individual day, we're going to focus on the week. And so if we take 1,300 for each day times 7 days, that gives us 9,100 for the week. Okay. So I'm going to show you just an example of how this can work. And you can do that. This is the cool thing about calorie cycling, is that you can do it in any way you want. You can do like one day is lower and one day is higher, one day is lower, one day higher, and you can just go like that. You could do 2 days in a row low, 2 days in a row high, 3 days low, 3 days high. You could do Monday to Friday low, and the weekends higher, right? The cool thing about this is that you just do what works for you with your happiness factor, what you've got going on. So here, I'm going to show you an example if I can get the screen share to work. So fingers crossed that the tech gods are with me today, because I'm going to show you. Yay. Okay. So here's an example of calorie cycling. So what I told you guys, 1,800, if this is the example that I'm giving, 1,800 for the day minus 500, that gives 1,300 calories per day. That would give us a calorie deficit. Okay. That's 9,100 for the whole entire week. Okay. So here's how it could break down. This is just an example. You can do anything you want. I'm just showing you an example. So Monday, let's say 900 calories, and you're like, oh my gosh, 900 calories, what does that mean? Well, 900 calories could be a bone broth day. When I figure out my calories of what I'm going to eat today, for me, I'm about 1,000 because I'm really trying to cram in like as much, collagen and stuff as I can, but you could totally make it 900 for this example. For me, it'd be 1,000. But anyways, you could do a bone broth cleanse day. Okay. So that's an example. Or you can do an OMAD, which is 1 meal a day. A lot of people in the group do that. You don't eat all day and then you have your big dinner. You might have your fatty coffee for breakfast or whatever, and you would count that in as your calories, right? So say you had my fatty coffee is 200 calories and I'm not going to veer from that. I love it. So I would minus that off. So say 987. So that would give me 700 calories for dinner, still very substantial. That's an easy way to do a 900 calorie day. Then on Tuesday, 1400 calories. Okay, that's like a normal keto day. That's like whatever you would normally do, right? So you're toggling between low and higher. Okay, so let's just say low and regular. Let's use that term. So low and regular, low and regular, low. Oh, and here comes the weekend. So when you add up all these ones Monday to Friday and you get your amount and you minus that off from 9,100, I just divided these 2 by 2 because typically for me, Saturday and Sunday, I love to have higher calorie and macro days because Saturday I probably have something social going on. And on Sunday, I love to have a big family dinner. So those are my 2 days that I love to go higher. Now, this was my mistake in the past. If I was sticking to my normal, say I'm 1,400 calories a day, right? Oh, if I did that every day, that does give me a calorie deficit and I would lose like a little bit every day or whatever. But then the weekend comes and then I would go really high. And I admit that I don't always track my macros or anything. So I didn't really know what I was always doing. And then I would go up on here. And you know what? I wouldn't be at 9,100 at the end of the week. I killed it here, but then I didn't here. Well, I killed it, but just barely, like just over. And then I really went over on here. And so when you add up the 7 days, it would be like, oh, okay, well, maybe I lost a tiny little bit, or maybe I gained. So this is the cool thing about this is that it still gives you days where you can go like nice and high. So you can do it whatever you want, right? And then I show you the example here. And I'm going to post this like in the group and all the different, the different website or whatever. I'll put it in the comments later so you guys can read it again. But anyways, you can just do a regular keto day, and you can do a 2MAD, which is, we call that like 2 meals a day. For 1,400 calories, you could totally do that. Absolutely no problem. In fact, if there's people that still eat 3 meals a day, you could do that on 1,400 calories. But this is just an example. Whatever your thing might not be 1,800, it might be more. If you're a heavy exerciser, it's definitely going to be more. And if you are a smaller person, it's going to be lower. I mean, it's just totally everyone's individual. So let's see if I can get back here. Yay. Okay. All right, I'm going to go back to this and just leave it here for a second in case any of you guys didn't write that down. So that's the website that I really like to use. I find it to be pretty accurate to find out what my maintenance calories are. And then from there, you can minus off your 300 to 500, whatever you feel comfortable with. I really don't recommend going, the experts say do not go over minusing off 500 more because you're just going to be too low in calories, okay? Yeah, and then do this. Do the calculation until you can get to what your calorie deficit is for the day. And then you're going to times it by 7 and you're going to get your weekly. And then we're going to go taking turns or whatever. So I want to know what you guys think about this. Hopefully I explained it right. I'm not like a teacher or anything. So I'm just like telling you what I learned. But I thought this was so cool. I just thought it was just such a nice way to be able to have our higher calorie days, our higher macro days, where we really want to enjoy. There's times where, I just feel like, I'm hitting it really hard. I'm doing really, really good. And then I feel like, oh man, I just want to have like an eating day. I just want to have an eating day. I have company or whatever. And 1,800 calories, like just for example, like that's huge. That's huge. That would more than fulfill me for kind of day that I want to have. I'm just go back to the comments here. Yeah. So tell me, you guys pop in here. Please tell me if you think that is something that you might want to try. And did I explain it okay? If there's anything that I didn't explain, please let me know because, I put it in these little chatty things so that you guys can read it because I thought that might be easier. Okay, so what else do I have here? Do what works for you. You know, the happiness factor is huge. You have to do what works for you. And also try out, like I said, try out different macro calculators. I love the Keto Diet app. It's my absolute favorite. I feel like it works the best for me. I like how it's laid out, and I find to be the macros to be extremely accurate. But there's lots of other ones, right? There's Carb Manager, there's Keto Gains. You can go to also ketogains.com also has a calculator that will also show you your maintenance. So you could go to that. It's just like it sounds, ketogains.com, like KETOGAINS.com /calculator, I think. And you can see how that compares to the, let me go back to it here, to, where is it? This one. See how it compares to that one. Here, let me see if I can, I'll see if I can be like techie today. That works. Oh, do I have to show it? Oh, I have to show it. Okay. Yay. I get so excited when I actually do something right that's like technical. I'm like, oh my gosh, yay me. That's another one that you could try, and then just compare the two, and hopefully they'll be close. I found them to be very, very close. So I really just stick with the TDEE. I feel like it's been around a long time, and a lot of experts out there use that one. So that's one I really like. But you could also try this one just to see. So I'll show you back there again. Okay, so yeah, so that was my message for today. Beth said she loves the idea. So Beth, let me know. I know Beth is like me. She loves to socialize and loves to have times where she can just kind of be free, you know? And I will say this, like I say free with a grain of salt because that doesn't always work out. Like as someone who doesn't always track all the time, it really can backfire if you're not kind of keeping track of what you do. So my feeling is this is a way that we can kind of feel like we're being a little bit bad. Like we feel like we're, you know, really treating ourselves to more, and we can really just enjoy the situation or whatever without feeling like we're constantly, you know, trying to follow or whatever. But that little thing that I showed you on the screen share, which I will post in the group later, that kind of a thing would totally work, I think, for a lot of people, because a lot of people do OMAD anyways, or they're doing the bone broth. Myself personally, for like a low calorie day, like a 900 to 1,000, I'm just going to do a bone broth day. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, we're doing the 3-day bone broth challenge or 3-day bone broth cleanse this week. And so you can follow us along in the group, but you can look in Unit 5 and the program is in there. And right in there, it says what the day looks like. You can do that day anytime. You don't have to do 3 days in a row like we're doing this week as a challenge. You can do it anytime. And that's what I'm going to be incorporating in 3 days a week, I think, after this week is over. I'm going to use that as my low calorie days because it's protein sparing, or muscle sparing because it's really good in protein, but it still gives me the low calories. I love to get more collagen in that anyway. So that's the kind of thing that I'm going to be implementing. And then having my normal keto days in between, and then my higher calorie days. Basically, I was kind of showing you what I'm going to be doing. That's basically what I'm going to be doing after this week is over. And I think it's going to work. So I'd be really interested if you guys want to give this a try, and please like just tag me in the group, or you can comment on this once I post it or whatever, and just see if you try this and if it works for you. So that's my message for today. You guys, I hope you have a super good day and enjoy your fatty coffees if you guys are drinking, and I will talk to you in the group. Okay, bye you guys. Hey guys, before you go, hit the like and subscribe button if you haven't already, and hit the bell notification so you can be notified every time we have a new video posted. Also, down in the description, I will have links to everything that we talked about in our chat today, including information on how you can join my Intentionally Bare Keto support group. See you next time.